Hey, what's up guys? And in the FPL news today, FPL have decided to be extra cheeky and give us a huge blank game week.
You naughty.
And an even bigger double game week.
It's so big.
But what is the best way to approach this?
How do we do
what
this?
What even is a blank
so
game
many
week?
questions.
Well, no worries lads. Sir Bacon Boy has got all of the answers for you. What is a double game week? A double game week in FPL is when a team has two fixtures in one FPL game week. For example, West Ham play Burnley and West Brom in the same game week, which means Antonio gets to do this to both of them. What is a blank game week? A blank game week is when a team has no fixture in an FPL game week. It's just silence. Nothing. 0 points. A dark place. Yeah, boring, innit? Why does my wife not love me? Come on, mate, you play FPL. Why do you think? So what exactly have the geezers done at the FPL Towers? Well, they've simply moved 5 games from Game Week 18 and moved them into Game Week 19. Now, are we sure an intern just didn't accidentally click half the games over to the next week? I like it. So Game Week 18, blank Game Week 18, now only has 5 fixtures, including just these teams. And every team that doesn't play here has 2 games in Game Week 19, double Game Week 19. So now, we have ourselves a bit of a sticky pickle, where if you want to have all of the players that have a double game week, it will mean they're going to be big boy blankers the game week before. So how do we do this? I've decided to crunch the numbers, scout the best players, and listen to tactical geniuses from around the world on what to do. To find the best information I can. So welcome to the top 5 blank Game Week 18, double Game Week 19, FPL strategies and approaches, Fantasy Premier League 2020 to 2021, tips and tricks, gone right, gone sexual. Sorry, I gotta fill in the title, don't I? So first, let's have a quick rundown with the FPL chips. We've got the triple captain, the bench boost, the wildcard, and the free hit. Triple captain. Instead of your captain normally getting his points doubled, they are simply just trebled.
Another one.
So imagine triple captaining a double game week player. That's effectively like 2 triple captains.
Another one.
The bench boost, where the water boys on your bench that are usually just sunbathing and not getting you any points do give you points.
Whoa.
The wild card, where you can make unlimited transfers to completely change your team, which you could also use to prepare to get in and out of strategies, you know, for a double or blank game week if you really wanted to. Wink, wink. The free hit, which allows you to have a brand spanking new team, but just for 1 week, and then revert back to your old team the next week. So if you fancy having a team containing John Joe Shelby, Adrian, David Luiz, and even Wilfred Bonny.
Come on, Wilfred Bonny.
Players you don't want forever, you can. Which may also be perfect to use when a lot of teams aren't playing. You know, like a blank game week. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But remember, you can't use multiple chips in the same week, so no free hit in bench boost, triple captain, wildcard extravaganza going on in Game Week 19, alright? But imagine if you actually could. Ooh, damn, son. Now, let's chinwag with the teams that are going to be complete bankers and then give us double trouble just after. So that when I say double game week team or players in these strategies, you know exactly who and what I'm on about. So the teams that don't have a double game week but aren't blankers in Game Week 18 and actually play include Sheffield 1 Point United, not a new owner, Newcastle, the Barking Wolves, Up the Toffees, Manchester, David Silva, please come back, City, Brighton and Vibe Albion, Aston Villa Driving School, Mourinho Bus Park in Spursy, Arsenal, and Crystal Palace. So when I say teams with just a single game week and not a double game week, I mean these fellas right here, okay? And then the teams that are blankers in 18 but double in 19 are the bubble blowing West Ham, heading West Brom, Leicester corner flag destroyer City, Chelsea, Leeds sprint around and have fun United, Daddy Ings FC Southampton, Fulham Sandwich, Bruno United, Liverpool Injured City, and Brexit Burnley. So when I say target double game week players, I mean players from these teams right here. But I actually mean mainly these teams, because look at those damn fixtures, man. Oh, it's just so beautiful. A Thomas Fellaini Susek with them 2 fixtures. So you know the parameters, you know the chips, you know how sexy I am. Here's a reminder. And you know everything you need to know to understand the best ever strategies. So let's crack on. Strategy 1. Free hit Game Week 18 Bench Boost Game Week 19. Using a bench boost in a double game week is actually just sexual, man. Where if you were to have a full team of 15 players all from a double game week, that would mean you could have 30 fixtures throughout your team in one FPL game week. That means if every single player just plays both games, that could be around 60 points just for appearance, just for playing. Now, sprinkling all of the extra glassos and other points, imagine how many points you're going to get, and you're just going to be spanking everyone in your mini leagues in no time. But if you're going to go heavy-handed into Game Week 19 with 15 double Game Week players, that would mean you would kind of have 0 players for Game Week 18, as all the double teams don't play then. So the 200 points you get in Game Week 19 might not actually be quite worth it if you're stinking out with a bloody 0 the week before. But that's why we could use our free hit. Where in Game Week 18, you could free hit a very good starting team with the likes of Man City and Spurs with a very sexy fixture, so you can still get all of the points there. So this is the free hit Game Week 18 to get a great score in that week, then bench boost Game Week 19 with all the double to get an even better score there. Preparation. Now, if you were to do this, you would have to start yeeting in all of the double game week players in your squad right now. So when it comes to it, you're on it like bloody Sonic. But this also may take a few weeks depending on who you have in your squad and what players you want to have. Now, you can do this by just using transfers every week and building towards a very good double game week squad, and even take a few hits if you want to be an absolute mad lad. Or you could actually also use your second wildcard to prepare for it if you really wanted to as well. The aftermath. Now, the thing you've got to remember with this strategy is you could be stuck with the likes of Johnston, Dallas, Charlie Taylor, Mason Mount, all of those geezers that you just don't really want for a long time, just stuck in your squad. Now, a very easy solution to this would be just to use your second wildcard after, and just get back to a team you want for the rest of the season. But there could still be other double game weeks and blank game weeks later on down the line, so you may want to try and save it for as long as possible. So if you are going to bench boost and keep your team for a bit, try not to get in just double game week players for the sake of the double, especially if you don't want them in your team for a long while after. As you know, having the likes of like a Son or De Bruyne may even do better than the double game week players in their single game week, and then also are probably slightly better options moving forward. So a mixture of single and double, whilst also considering your future team, is what you should really aim for here. So to summarise, strategy 1, free hit Game Week 18 and just choose the players that are playing. Bench boost Game Week 19 to have a lot of fixtures and points appertaining. Target Game Week 19 double fixture players from now until then with all the transfers. But if you need to, you can also wildcard to set up, or also wildcard out of it if you really want to, and get all of the points. Strategy 2, free hit Game Week 19. Now this one is probably just the lazy boy, the casual strat, but actually could be much better in the long run anyway. Where maybe you don't want to spend weeks and weeks planning your transfers for games in the future like all of us FPL experts. Ha, nerd. And you know, some players, could get injured. Some people could leave in January transfer window or come in. And maybe you don't want the likes of Sam Johnston, Sebastian Heller, or bloody Mitrovic in your team like ever. Never mind just for a few weeks. But maybe the double is just teasing enough that you don't want to miss out on some of those differential guys. So all you need to do is play the game as normal and concentrate on the fixtures as they go on. Maybe get in a few Game Week 18 fixture players if you don't want to have a too low score there. But then when Game Week 19 comes around, you can get your boxing gloves out and hit it with a swing and get a free hit in. Where if you free it in a double game week, you could proper risk it for a biscuit and get the likes of like a Lookman, a Diangana, Harvey Barnes, even an Arsenal legend in Theo Walcott. Players that could very well score big in the doubles, but other people won't get them in because they don't want them long term. So if it works, it will definitely work. But then the best part about this is, you're just back to your normal team the week after anyway. And you can continue as normal for the rest of the game weeks, whilst loads of other people might have a bunch of mess everywhere that they need to clean up in their team, which could actually hinder them, and then you also have the advantage. So this strategy right here will probably have the least preparation required, and also the least aftermath to deal with as well. So to summarise, strategy 2, just hit the free hit button on double Game Week 19, and then just continue as normal before and after, just chill, just vibes, and less stressful. Enjoy your time, man. Strategy 3, the no chip strategy. Maybe you want to keep your chips in a back pocket for another rainy day, or another little sneak attack later on down the road. Or maybe you've just already splaffed them all out, splaffed half of them out, and you've just got none of them left. Keep it in your pants, boy. So this one here is focusing on how do if you don't have any of the chips or many of the chips left, or you don't want to use any of the chips. And the simple answer to this could be, just take it on the chin. And maybe just focus on a balance of Game Week 18 and double Game Week 19 players. Because even though it's a double in Game Week 19, those teams that have a double blank in 18 anyway. So if you just look at the 2 fixtures and look at all the players for just those 2 game weeks, every team only plays twice anyway. So it's not actually as mad as it seems. Now, obviously, if you had chips, you could maximize having a full team for both, but you don't have that, so I like it. So if you're going to do the virgin chip strategy and use no chips, I would advise you to try and have enough players in Game Week 18 that you do okay. You know, maybe like 5 or 6 could probably be enough, because, you know, if half the games aren't playing, then there's not going to be any massive scores. The average is going to probably be quite a bit lower. It's not going to be too bad. But then also, you still want some double game week players ready for the next week, because that is the one you're probably more likely to miss out on. So if you have a balanced team ready for both weeks, where even you can make a couple of transfers or maybe even a couple of hits to get in some players on the double game week, that could very well be worth it too, without the use of chips. Whoa! Now this one could actually mean there's not much of a clean job required at all, as you may just want to stick to your normal team and pretend like these blanks and doubles didn't even happen. You do you, hun. Strategy 4. Wildcard Game Week 19. Now, this one may be most optimal for you if you don't have your free hit or if you just fancy keeping it. Or maybe you just aren't happy-chappy with your team and this just kind of gives you an excuse to chuck everyone in the bin and get a brand spanking new team. So this one is simply kick back, relax, and don't even worry. No panic about any other players here, and you don't even need to look who's got the double, and all you need to do is maybe target a lot of the Game Week 18 fixtures so you have a good score there, but then bamboozle everyone and whap out your wildcard in Game Week 19. Not only to focus on a team for the doubles, but also a team for the future as well. Now this one could very well work, as you are effectively giving it your all in both the weeks, but with only the use of one of your chips. But this kind of is one of the best and most important chips in the game, the wildcard. Now obviously, if you wanted to, you could even just wildcard a team specifically for the double game week and target all of the best fixtures, but then also you'll probably have a cleanup on aisle 4 required after that, and it probably won't work as well. But, you know, all approaches here still quite viable. Preparation. To prepare for this one, just sit back and vibe. Enjoy your weeks, start fumbling out the double players and get in some of the Game Week 18 players, and start working out what players you want in your wild cardio. The aftermath. The mess on this completely depends on who you choose in your wild card, where if you focus more on the double geezers, there's going to be more work afterwards, but if you focus more on a team for the future, then absolutely no problems at all. So to summarise, strategy 4, start to chuck away the players that are going to have a double and focus on Game Week 18 players, then wildcard a brand spanking new team with whatever approach you fancy. Strategy 5, the triple captain. Now this isn't necessarily as much of a strategy as the others, and you can actually slightly change most of the previous ones for this one. But this one here is if you really want to get that triple captain used in a double game week, and you've just got a raging semi for the triple and just gagging to get it done. So what do you do? So I believe the best strategy, if you really want to use your triple cap, is probably actually to follow strategy's 1 approach of free hitting in Game Week 18, then reverting back to your ready for all the doubles team double game week team. This is because if you want to triple captain a double game week player, they would either have to be on your bench in Game Week 18 if you aren't free hitting, or you'd have to transfer them in that week. Which, you know, doesn't sound like too much of a problem, but as I'll get into a little bit later with some extra tips for y'all, the game weeks are like really close. It's in the January transfer window, and you know, there could be a lot of unexpected problems in your team. And all of a sudden, you may have to take like a -8 or -12 hit just to get your triple captain in, which, you know, could very well fail anyway. But this one here is just open-ended. You could also just pretend like Game Week 18 doesn't exist at all, and just focus on your team for the double and beyond, and then just whap on the triple captain chip for whoever you fancy. But you know, we're just trying to tell you the best way to succeed in all of the weeks. But also, there aren't any amazing fixtures for the double game weeks here. But then again, double chance of something, so you never know, could be fantastic. But also, there will be other double game weeks, so still another chance if you don't fancy doing it now. So that is in fact all of the strategies, where I'll quickly give you another breakdown of them all again, then chinwag with some of the best players to select and just some general tips too. Strategy 1, free hit Game Week 18, bench boost Game Week 19. Prepare your team using transfers for double game week players, ensure you can have a big boy score in both, and even use your wildcard before or after if you really need to. Strategy 2, free hit Game Week 19. Target more single game week players now and players for after the double, then free hit all of the risky boys that could well pay off, and players you don't want to keep forever but have a pretty good double game week. Strategy 3, the no chip strategy. Have a balance between Game Week 18 and double game week 19 players to just about get by without having to use any ready chips, whether you splunk them early or you want to save them for another time. Strategy 4. Game Week 19 wildcard. Heavily target fixtures up to Game Week 18 and for Game Week 18, then wildcard in Game Week 19 to target the doubles and the future fixtures. And also a pretty good excuse to reshape your team if it's in quite a bit of a mess right now. Strategy 5. Triple captain Game Week 19. Use whatever approach you want to, just to focus on triple in some lucky players' points for the double game week. And that is it for all of the strategies. Whatever one tickles your pickles the most, or whatever one works best for you, could depend on what players you already have and what players you want in the future, and also what chips you have now and what chips you want to keep for the future. So it's all subjective, and everybody's team is going to be quite a bit different. So now, some extra big boy tips on the types of players you might want to be looking at, and also some extra deets that could very well help you involving the double game week players. Some of these may seem very obvious, but don't hurt knowing at all. Double game week usually means 2 games played in quick succession, meaning more risk of rotation. So that means if there's a team with multiple players in a position, for example Man City having Gabriel Jesus and Aguero up front, the quick turnaround could mean that one plays one and one plays the other. But obviously not guaranteed, and it depends on the team anyway. But just means you should really aim for the non-rotation risky and nailed on players. The talisman of the team, the main important piece of the puzzle that can't miss games for their team, like a Salah, like a Bruno, like the captains that make the difference. Like you don't really want the likes of a Willian, a Lanzini, a Harvey Barnes, players that could play both, but players that probably won't play both. Because, if you have a player that only plays one, then you have a single game week player, not a double game week player. So make sure you picked nailed on players. Next up is don't neglect single game week players over the double. Man City play Palace, Spurs play Sheffield United. A Kane, a De Bruyne could very, very well score big in those games, and possibly a lot bigger than maybe a Vardy against a Southampton and Chelsea. Even someone with a double game week could score less, and also a player you don't want for longer on anyway. Obviously, there's more chance of something in the double game week, but if it's going to affect you in the future, then, it's probably not worth it. Then finally, make sure you plan for after the double game week. It's all good and well spending all of your chips and getting a really, really good score in 1 week, but if it's going to hinder you for the rest of the season, then it's not really worth it, is it? Where, you could make a gain of like upwards of 30 points just from this game week, but then struggle with balance all around your squad and keep losing points here and there, and then after 5 or 10 weeks, you realise it really wasn't worth it. So just be prepared for what you're going to do, and you always have your second wildcard if worse comes to worse anyway. So that is it. Let me know what strategy you will be doing, or what strategy really sounds like a good idea. And are you ready to get those 100 points? No. 200 point scores in this double game week. Yeah, boy! Thanks for watching, and remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.